All right, let's get right into it. Picture this. It's 1967. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., just 6 short months before he was assassinated, walks into a junior high school in Philadelphia. Now, he wasn't there to give some big, formal political speech. No, he was there to talk directly to a group of teenagers about their future. And the advice he gave them that day, well, it became one of the most powerful personal roadmaps for a meaningful life ever recorded. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to break down that very advice. We'll start with his main idea, this concept of a life blueprint. Then we'll walk through the 3 core principles he laid out for those students. And to wrap it all up, we're going to look at something fascinating, the science behind why his words still hit so hard today. You know, Dr. King built his entire talk around one simple but absolutely brilliant metaphor. He kicked things off by asking the students a very direct question. And it's the same one I want you to think about right now. What is your life's blueprint? It's a real challenge, right? It forces you to think beyond just what you want to do and start thinking about who you want to be. Here's how he explained it. Before anyone puts up a building, an architect has to draw up a detailed plan, a blueprint. That's the guide, the pattern, the whole model. If that blueprint is shaky, the building is going to fail. Simple as that. And he argued our lives are exactly the same. We have to be the architects of our own lives, and that means we need a plan. And here he is actually giving that speech. The really important thing to remember here is his audience. He's talking to young people at what he called the most important and crucial period of their lives. He was giving them the actual tools to design their own futures with purpose. So, what were those tools? Okay, so the very first thing you need in your blueprint isn't some career goal or a plan to make a lot of money. Nope, it's something much, much deeper. It's this foundational belief in your own value. This is number 1, the absolute starting point. Can't skip this step. These words from Dr. King are basically a command. He was insisting that the number 1 principle is to have this deep, unshakable belief in your own dignity. It's about deciding right now that you will refuse to let anyone or any system make you feel small. He even coined a term for this feeling, somebody-ness. I love that. It's not just about self-esteem, you know? It's this profound conviction that your life has ultimate significance. For Dr. King, this was the cornerstone. Everything else you plan to build has to rest on this foundation. Now let's move on to the second principle. Once you've got that foundation of self-worth, the next step is to figure out how you're going to express that worth to the world. And that comes down to a commitment to excellence. So here we go, principle number 2. This is all about the quality of what you do, no matter what it is you choose to do. And wow, this is probably one of the most famous analogies ever. He's not just saying, hey, do a good job. He's saying, whatever you do, elevate it to the level of high art. Pour the exact same passion and mastery into your work that the greatest artists in history poured into theirs. The key takeaway here is that he completely flips the script on what success means. It's not about having the most high-status job. It's about being the best at your job. He says, be the best of whatever you are. If you can't be a giant pine tree on a hill, that's fine. Be the best little shrub in the valley. It's all about excellence in your own sphere. Okay, so the first 2 principles are about building a strong self. But Dr. King knew that a life blueprint is totally incomplete if it's only about you. The final piece of the puzzle connects your own personal life to a bigger public purpose. And that brings us to the third and final principle, a commitment to something much larger than yourself. This principle starts with a really profound act of self-discipline. He's saying when you face injustice, and you will, the biggest challenge is not to let bitterness and hate corrupt you. It's a call to hold on to your own moral high ground, even when you're being pushed. So the bottom line is, your personal blueprint has to look outward. It has to include a commitment to what he called the eternal principles: beauty, love, and justice. This means you have a responsibility to get involved, even as a young person, in the struggle to make life better for everyone. So now we get the 3 pillars of his blueprint. But that brings up another question, doesn't it? Why do these words still feel so electric, so powerful all these decades later? It's not just about the ideas themselves, it's also about how he delivered them. And it turns out, charisma isn't just magic, it's a science. The impact of this speech was no accident. It was carefully built using a specific set of tools, rhetorical tools, that he used with incredible skill to connect with his audience. And today, we can actually identify and measure these very techniques. researchers have a name for them: charismatic leadership tactics, or CLTs. And just look at this table. Dr. King's speech is a total masterclass. He uses powerful metaphors like the blueprint to make a huge idea feel real and solid. He pulls us in with rhetorical questions. He uses contrasts and three-part lists, which just have a natural rhythm that makes them feel so complete and memorable. These aren't just fancy speaking tricks. They're proven psychological tools for creating connection. And get this is where it gets really wild. We can actually measure this stuff now. A 2024 study trained a machine learning model, an AI, to spot these exact tactics in a text. The result? A staggering 98.96% accuracy. That's almost perfect. It proves that these charismatic tools are so consistent, so patterned, that even a machine can learn to see them. Which tells us that charisma isn't just some magical gift you're born with. It has a blueprint of its own, a structure that can be analyzed, understood, and even learned. And he left those students and all of us with this final instruction for actually putting the blueprint into action. It's a message of pure, relentless forward momentum. It doesn't matter how fast you go. The only thing that matters is that you never, ever stop trying to move forward. And that brings us right back to the original question he asked at the very beginning. We've deconstructed the principles, self-worth, excellence, and justice, that he laid out. So now the question is all yours. What's going to be in your blueprint?